Approximations are a hindrance to the truth. What we think we see is not actually what is there. Budjette Tan, Lost Journal of Alejandro Pardo. Meet the dark creatures from Philippine mythology.
Hey there, fellow curious minds. Welcome to LilWeird, your podcast for all things that go bump in the night or just make you raise a skeptical eyebrow. I'm your host, Jane, and let's just say I'm not easily convinced by the official story. So, grab your favorite beverage, curiosity-fueling coffee, or skepticism-inducing tea. It's all good here, because we're about to embark on a journey down some pretty strange rabbit holes. We'll explore the fringes of the known and peek behind the curtain of the ordinary. Remember, on this adventure, open-mindedness is key, and a healthy dose of, wait, really, is always encouraged. Buckle up, weirdos. We all have a little weird in us, don't we? And let's get exploring. Welcome back, curious minds. In our last episode, we delved into the eerie world of Filipino superstitions after dark. But guess what? There's even more to uncover. Today, we're diving deeper into the roots of these beliefs, exploring the fascinating connection between superstitions and creatures from Philippine folklore, also considered as lower mythology. We will talk more about these creatures in later episodes, but right now, let's talk briefly about them and how they contributed to the superstitious beliefs that we talked about in the previous episode. So, let's dive in, shall we? Do you remember the superstition about not sweeping at night? Do not sweep at night because it is considered bad luck. Well, hold on to your brooms because this superstition traces back to the mysterious Duwende. Picture them as dwarves, elves, or goblins standing only about 2 feet tall and dwelling underground. It is believed that they possess poor eyesight but keen hearing, and they render invisible to the naked eye. But don't let their size fool you because these little beings pack a punch. Known to be vengeful if provoked, they'll unleash all sorts of unusual diseases on those who offend them. From fevers to weird rashes to paralysis or even sudden deaths. Even the act of accidentally urinating on their territory could result in surprising and discomforting swollen extremity for unsuspecting males. Legend has it that Duwende often pays human households a visit at noon or after sunset. That's why sweeping floors during these times is a big no-no. So it's wise to remain cautious of their presence and handle interactions with care. You wouldn't want to accidentally sweep into their eyes and risk angering them, would you? The same goes for tossing out water or rubbish. Always give them a heads up so they can find cover. And do you remember the chant I mentioned? Bari-bari? Turns out, it's not just a catchy phrase to ward off unseen beings. It's a protective spell against none other than the towering Kapre. This chant was traditionally uttered before cutting trees. It's a precautionary measure to ward off these mythical tree-dwelling giants. So, buckle up folks because we're just scratching the surface of the mythical creatures and superstitions that color the tapestry of Filipino folklore. Stay tuned for more spine-tingling tales and curious discoveries. The mysterious Kapre, a creature of endless transformations in Philippine folklore. These shape-shifting giants, also known as amalapi, meaning the ever-changing, are sight to behold. Imagine towering tree-dwellers standing between 7 to 9 feet tall, draped in darkness, with a mane of hair and muscles that could rival Hercules. They call abandoned structures or the hollows of large trees home, puffing away on seekers that never seem to diminish. But beware, for Kapres are not to be trifled with, especially when it comes to their arboreal abodes. Should the tree they inhabit be threatened with the axe, they can unleash their wrath. Hence, the precautionary chant bari-bari, a plea for them to stay away. The full version, bari-bari, umarayo ka mo ngamin afu, carries even more weight, spoken in my native language Ibanag. While the exact meaning of bari-bari eludes me, the rest translates to clear message, please stay away all of you. A direct plea to unseen entities, perhaps aimed specifically at the Kapre. And, lo and behold, our star of the show, fireflies. These enchanting insects seem to be entwined with every magical creature imaginable. Legend has it that abundant fireflies in wooded areas are the embers of the Kapre's lit cigars or tobacco pipe. Imagine that, the flickering lights dancing in the night, carrying with them whispers of ancient giants and mysterious beings. It's just another layer of the intricate Filipino folklore, where every flicker of light tells a story and every shadow hides a secret. Okay, let's move on to the tikbalang, a creature of legend mentioned in our last episode, residing in the mighty paleta tree or kalumpang. Picture this, a tall, bony humanoid with the head and hooves of a horse, its long limbs stretching disproportionately, almost reaching above its head when it crouched. Well, my childhood friend once spoke of tikbalangs knocking on houses. The more widespread belief is that these beings lead wanderers astray, often taking the form of a relative and playing tricks that defy logic. To escape their mischievous grasp, one must simply wear their shirt inside out, a peculiar solution to an even stranger problem. And as for the pretty sight at night, the fireflies, I read something interesting about them. And it's not just about them playing or dancing around with a white lady, but apparently, there are these creatures known as the Lakitnon. These ethereal beings traverse the sky in wooden flying ships, using their arboreal homes as anchor points after their nightly voyages. Legend has it that when fireflies swarm around these trees and a dog barks, it's a sign that the Lakitnon ship has been spotted. To witness the spectacle for oneself, one must follow a series of curious steps. Here are the steps one has to follow. One has to rub the dog's eyes with one's fingers, then rub them on their own eyes, turn back from the tree, bend, then look between their legs. A ritual steeped in mystery and tradition. Now, let's dive deeper into the fireflies. Well, this is just my theory, but as we talked on the last episode, some say that they accompany a white lady, a ghostly apparition often sighted in balete trees along roadsides, particularly in places like Balete Drive, in Metro Manila, or in Baguio City. My theory, since balete trees are most commonly known during the modern times as the lurking place of a white lady, then it must have been popularized that it is the white lady which these fireflies are hanging around with in these trees, instead of the fairies or the belief that the fireflies are the embers of the Kapre's cigar. And another thing is the belief of seeing between your legs. There is a version of this that I read or heard somewhere that says, if you want to see a ghost, do this. Or in another version, if you want to see a true form of a shapeshifter, then bend over and look between your legs. Therefore, these tales, once intertwined with the legends of Kapres and fairies, may have evolved over time, shaped by cultural influences and regional beliefs. It's a reminder of how stories transform as they pass through generations, each retelling adding a new layer of complexity. At the end of the day, they are all part of the rich tapestry of Filipino folklore, where approximations of truth blur the lines between reality and myth. As we unravel these tales, we're reminded that while the truth may elude us, the journey itself is filled with wonder and intrigue.
adding vibrant hues to the tapestry of our cultural heritage. So far, those are the things that I have uncovered in my recent readings. Interestingly, I found a connection between the old beliefs that are woven in our culture and the creatures in our myths and legends. And most of these entries are from a book by Budjette Tan, which is from a journal of a man named Alejandro Pardo. And in the book, it says that it's just also a pseudonym to protect the name of the real author. And the title of the book is Lost Journal of Alejandro Pardo, Meet the Dark Creatures from Philippine Mythology. So, this book contains most of the popular creatures and mainstream ones from our legends and myths. And it also contains creatures that I am personally unaware of and unfamiliar with. For instance, I learned from this book that there are actually different tribes of encantos and encantadas, and also there are creatures that I thought are the same as a swang and manananggal, but actually they are of different species. So in short, it's a detailed entry of specific creatures that one may mistake for the other. And this journal was written during the Spanish era, the journal, okay, not the book. And I think that it makes more sense for people to encounter these creatures during the time, because I can only imagine the kind of landscape our country has during that time, where communities are few and there are a lot of uncharted territories. The mountains and natural resources that we have are unexploited, and the nights are dark and long and filled with mysteries. So, if you're interested to know more about those creatures from that book, then I recommend that you must read the book, because it's really very interesting and very detailed. And as for us in this podcast, perhaps I'll just make a separate series on the creatures of Philippine folklore, so we can also dive deeper into it. Okay, so let's keep the excitement alive as we gradually unveil these captivating adventures into the unexplored. I'm eager to discover where this path will lead us, and I extend a warm invitation for you to come along on this enthralling journey. Together, we'll deep dive into the rich fabric of history that has shaped our beliefs, unraveling the intriguing mysteries behind our convictions. And by the way, just in case you're wondering why the title LilWeird, it's because I believe that things are only strange and weird if you do not know anything about it, or if you're unfamiliar with. What we perceive as strange or weird is often just a matter of perspective. Normalcy, after all, is subjective. What may seem ordinary to one person might appear peculiar to another. So, in essence, things are simply a little weird for each of us, depending on our unique experiences and understanding of the world. But beyond the tales of duendes and tikbalangs, there lies deeper, more profound truth, one that transcends the boundaries of the supernatural. It's the realization that our world is a tapestry woven from countless threads of belief, tradition, and imagination. Every story we have uncovered, each superstition we've dissected, is a reflection of the human experience, our fears, our hopes, our capacity for wonder. In the end, our LilWeird adventures are not just about entertaining tales or spine-tingling thrills. It's about embracing the unknown, celebrating the diversity of human culture, and finding beauty in the mysterious corners of our world. So, as you step back into the light of day, remember that the weird and wonderful are never far away. Keep your eyes open, your minds curious, and your heart open to the magic that surrounds us all. Until next time, stay curious, stay adventurous, and above all, stay weird. Thanks for listening.